Simba and Bento's down here as well. But more importantly, welcome. Welcome to the best part of your week. No, probably the best part of your life. And it's called Live with Jack. Hi, I'm Jack. Welcome to episode 24 of Live with Jack. Can you believe that? Already 24 of them. But if you really want to take this up to the next level, if you really want to enjoy this, here's what you're going to need to do. You're going to need to find some sort of beverage vessel, some sort of drinking container. Fill it with whatever it is you like to drink. Yesterday, I had a lot to drink, so today we're on water. And then join me now for the Cheers with Chaps, the culmination of civilization, the height of humanity, the best part of everything. Go. Oh, good, life-giving water. It always tastes better whenever we drink it together. It's true. Now, let's not wait. Let's not beat around the bush. Let's get down to the business of teaching you the formula for attractiveness. That's what you're really here for, isn't it? You're here for the lesson. And you're here to learn what it is that makes someone attractive. Now, a lot of guys make mistakes whenever it comes to rating themselves and figuring out how attractive they are. They'll think that it's only based on how they look. Or they'll go the other way and tell you that looks don't matter at all. That's not true. Neither of those is true, in fact. But there is a very simple formula for figuring out how attractive you are and figuring out what you can improve on to make yourself more attractive. Now, let's jump right into it because attractiveness has 4 parts. And yes, we're back on whiteboards today. So, attractiveness has 4 parts: looks, status, personality, and resources. You're going to add all those things together, average them out. That is how attractive you are. Now, let's run through these real quick. I'm going to give a quick explanation of what each one is, what it could be, and we're going to talk about some ways to improve it. So, the first one, looks. Now, this is something that a lot of guys get really testy about because nobody likes to think that they're busted. But the fact is, there are busted dudes out there. However, looks is an aggregate of all the different aspects to how you look and how you present yourself. So this involves things like fashion. If you walk around wearing fucking Mario Brothers t-shirts, that is not fashionable, right? You are lowering your looks department by having poor fashion. It's affected by things like your weight. How fat are you? How chunky monkey are you? Or how muscular are you? It also includes things like your height. And yes, height does matter. You can ask Paul in a little bit, who just destroyed on Bumble because he put on there that he was like, I don't know, a 6'10" Viking or whatever the fuck it is he put. I don't know, he's a tall dude. And it helps. It matters. It does matter, right? I'm 5'11". The number of Korean girls who have told me I'm not tall enough, a lot. It does matter. But it's not the only thing. And you shouldn't let that hold you back. So if you're a short dude, one of my best friends is like 4'9". He's really small. But he makes up for it in a lot of different ways, which is where the attractiveness comes in because you are not limited by the looks. Now, if you're short, but you're stacked, you've been hitting the gym every single day, you're going to be more attractive than a tall dude who's just a huge fat chunk of lard, right? So do what you can in the looks department, figure out which parts you can control, and control them meticulously if you want to improve your attractiveness. Now let's go on to the next one. Status. This can mean so many things. And status is very much in the eye of the girl that you're talking to. So, am I a president or something? Am I like a powerful politician? Am I some famous person? No. But can you be a local celebrity? Yes, absolutely. Can you be the superstar at your local watering hole? 100%. Does that confer status? Yes, it absolutely does. Is it the same as being an NBA player? Fuck no. Of course it's not. But that may be out of your reach. I can never play in the NBA. No matter how much I practice, no matter what I do, I will never be an NBA player. Because remember, I'm 5'11", which means I'm never going to be an NBA player. However, can I cultivate my status locally? Absolutely. Can I play in a local band at different bars around town and be the guy on stage? Yes, absolutely. There are different things that you can do to increase your status in the eyes of the girl that you're talking to. So remember, she's not comparing you to LeBron whenever she's talking to you, because LeBron is also out of her reach. She's comparing you to the other guys around. Given that comparison, can you have high status? Absolutely. Can you have authority and weight in her mind and carry that status? Can you have social status beyond some sort of more tangible power or station that other people have? Yes, absolutely. And so if your status is low, you can find ways to raise that. Even just getting a good group of friends who all have similar goals and are all working to get better is going to increase your status a lot, because you're going to get a lot of social validation. You're going to get a lot of social proof from those friends. That is status. Next, personality. Okay, this one is probably the least measurable on this list, because everybody likes different types of personalities, and there's no necessary good personality to have. But what you should be going for, if you want to increase your personality, is you need to be working on your humor. You need to be working on your conversation skills. And I've taught you some tricks about how to practice those. Literally told you to just start talking to yourself like a crazy person. I mean, like I'm doing right now. I'm staring at myself in the screen and talking to myself like a fucking crazy person. But it helps me develop the skills to talk about a topic for basically an indefinite period and keep on going, keep myself interested. You can practice your humor by telling yourself jokes. See if you can make yourself laugh. If you can tell a joke that makes you physically laugh at your own joke, that means that your humor is doing well. You need to keep practicing that. Jokes and humor are really difficult to improve at because so much of it is made up on the fly as you go. And you're not going to have a ton of opportunities to do that in day-to-day life. So you have to practice it with yourself if you want to improve it. However, personality is going to be a really good way for a lot of guys to make up ground if they're lower in the looks department or in the status department or in what we're about to get to next, the resources. So if you are low in any of those departments, you should work on improving your personality, because personality can go a long way to getting a girl to be more attracted to you. Next up, resources. Basically, money, but also other more tangible things. Do you have your own home? Do you have a car if you're in a place that needs a car? Do you have the ability to gain more resources? Because basically, do you have a job? You may not have a ton in your savings account right now, but if you have the ability to get more resources, to procure more, then girls are going to see that as well. And that's going to be attractive. Do you have a job? What kind of job is it? Right? Because now this is tied to status as well. Your job is both status and resources. So some jobs may pay a lot, but have low status. Like if you're a garbage collector or something, that has high pay, great for resources, very low on the status totem pole by how most people view it. So you can have a high status job that pays very little as well, like being a musician, because that's great for status, terrible for resources. You can find a balance there, and you need to figure out how to package it. Now, that's a part that we're going to get to in a little bit, but these are the 4 basics on your formula for attractiveness. If you want to know how attractive you are, you need to rate yourself in all 4 of those areas and figure it out. You add them together, you average it out. So I've done that. I've put together a self-evaluation. My looks, this side, my looks, I gave myself a 5 because not busted, but I'm also not that great. And like I said, I don't give a shit about fashion. I don't really spend that much time in the gym, especially because they still make you wear fucking masks over here, and that's stupid. So, about a 5. About a 5. Status, 7. Why? Because, first of all, Korean girls, and I'm in Korea, obviously, Korean girls do view foreigners as a higher status than somebody similarly situated in Korea. That's beneficial. Also, I'm a musician, play around the local areas. I'm a superstar at the bars that I go to. All the bartenders know me. The owners know me. They call me by name. They give me free stuff. Great for status. I specifically don't use any social media, which you might think lowers your status. No, it makes you more interesting. It makes you more mysterious because you're not so easily reached. Raises your status. So my status is about a 7. Personality, this is where I score the highest because I practice my conversation skills, because I practice my humor. Does this mean that everybody loves me? No. Does this mean 9 out of 10 people love me? No, absolutely not. But, and this is very important, nobody ever forgets me. Everybody who meets me either loves me or hates me. After hanging out with me for a night, nobody ever says, Jack, who was that? Who's Jack? I don't remember that guy. That doesn't happen because I have a very strong personality. Now, is it going to play more towards the types that I want? Yes, because I have designed it that way, because I'm not trying to attract sluts and attention whores. So I don't play their game. Instead, I build my personality and my strengths around the types of girls that I want to attract, the ones that I'm looking for. I mean, even though I'm not looking for them anymore, but still, the skill set still remains from when I was doing this regularly. So, oh goodness, just hit my microphone. So, personality, 9. Resources, 5. Spent too much time playing music, teaching little kids how to speak English. I'm not rich. Barely have any money, but I am able to procure more. If I wanted to, I can get more work, I can make more money, and I have, well, this business along with a few others. So resources, not terrible, not great. Am I going to try to use that to attract women? No, because that's not my strong suit, right? Same with the looks. So you add them together, 5, 7, 9, 5, average them out, average is a 7. That puts my sexual market value, my attractiveness, at about a 7. Good enough. Now, here's the question though. Even though you list yourself as a 7, how do you get girls who are hotter than 7s? Well, it depends on how you package it. Because if I tried to lean hard into my looks or into my resources, am I going to do well? No, not at all. So, dating apps, are those going to work well for me? Not particularly. I can't be a 6'10" Viking. I can't be a muscle-bound fella like Julius. Can't do that. That's not my strong suit. So what do? Well, I lean more into the personality. I do more cold approaches because there I can inject humor. I can show personality in most of the things that I do. Even just in the approach itself, I can really play up my personality. So you need to figure out where you're strong and where you're weak. If you want to improve your overall attractiveness, you need to improve those areas where you're weak. If I were trying to improve this, right? If I were trying to bring myself up to be an 8 or a 9, I would obviously be working on my looks and my resources because status and personality are both solid. So I would be looking to build these 2 things up. Or you take what you've currently got and you figure out how to package it. Now, what does that mean? Well, first of all, figure out who it is you're looking for. Figure out which types of girls you're trying to meet. And if you haven't already seen the videos or read the posts about the different types of women. You need to do that so that you understand who you're looking for. You can't set a goal if you don't know what it is that you're aiming for. So look through the different types, figure out who it is that you do want and who you don't want. Then start building your entire system around the girls that you want to be meeting, the girls that you want to be dating. And you can't just say, oh, I want hot girls. Okay. What kind of girls, right? Because you can have the hot librarian, like in the Van Halen music video for Hot for Teacher, like she's smoking hot, but she's dressed up as a teacher. Now, do you want the teacher type? Because there are hot shy girls out there. There are hot friends out there. Not friends, but the friend type. There are lots of those. But most guys in their head, they're imagining hot sluts, hot attention whores, hot alcoholics even. Fine. You need to figure out who it is that you're going for, because hot, great, not a personality trait. Figure out what kind of personalities the girls have that you want to be meeting. And then start to package your presentation around them, because that's what this is. This is sales. It is a presentation. Every time that you go up to a girl, you're talking to a girl, you're trying to get her number, you're trying to take her on a date, you're trying to take her to bed, whatever it is you're trying to do, it's always you basically selling yourself to her and selling an idea, selling a concept. Maybe you're selling your idea of fun to her and you're trying to get her to come along for a ride with you, right? Or maybe you're selling a future together if you're looking for a longer term relationship. Or maybe you're just trying to sell her your dick, because that's what you're trying to do, is just bang it out. Nothing wrong with any of those. They are all real, and you need to acknowledge what it is that you're trying to find, because you're going to approach every one of those differently, right? If you're looking for a wife, you're going to act differently to the girl than if you're just looking to stick your willy in her. So figure out what it is you want. Figure out who it is that you want. Who do you want to be attracting, and for what kind of relationship? And then you start to actually build around that. You think to yourself, okay, this type of girl who I have in my head, what is she going to be looking for in a guy? Is she going to be looking for height? Is she going to be looking for muscles? Is she going to be looking for intelligent conversation on the Hegelian dialectic? I don't know. You have to think about it, right? Because it's different for every girl and for every type of girl. This is why I can't give you the answers, but I can teach you the formula to help you get to your own answer. So you start figuring out where you're attractive, where you're unattractive, how you can either shore those things up or keep them out of view and focus on the parts where you're strong. And then you start to build those around the types that you want to attract. This is how you raise your attractiveness without having to actually raise those other things. Because I have managed to be attractive to girls much hotter than me by focusing on those different aspects. That's how you do it. That's the formula. There you go. You guys have just learned everything. 10 years of dating practice consolidated down into about 18 minutes of a formula. Congratulations. You win. Now all you have to do is actually put it into use. Go do that thing, right? Actually rate yourself and be honest with yourself in the parts where you're not that great. If you start to rate yourself and you just give yourself 7s across the board, that means you're not being honest with yourself. You're not actually rating yourself well. So figure out what's working for you, what's not, what you need to start building up, what you need to start putting forward more, what you should show off, what you should keep kind of tucked away a little bit or downplay. Figure it out, and you will be able to attract whatever types of girls it is that you want. There you go. That's it. So with all that said, lesson is over, and I'm going to bring in our panel for the live Q&A. So let's go ahead and bring our friends in. First, we have Big Julius with a, what is that? Is that like a statue of David with lightning around his head? We've got Big Rich, who is just an R. And a surprise guest, we have Paul from Norway. Oh, okay. I get it. I get it now. All right. How are you boys doing? Uh-oh. We have lost Julius. That's okay. Anybody? How are you? What's going on?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah?
Currently located in Oslo. Been around a bit for the past few months, a little bit everywhere. It's been a while since I've been around here,
Yeah?
but definitely looking forward now. Summer's over and going back to Korea in about 3 weeks.
Excellent. Rich is also getting back here in, I believe, 2 weeks or so. And Julius is also getting here, I think, at the end of the month or beginning of next month, somewhere in that range. Rich, are you there? Okay, I think Rich has gone to go poop or something. I don't know. But let's just go ahead and jump into our questions for today. All right, so our first question. Sadly, the kid is not with us today because of the time, right? We got pushed back. Jesus, microphone issues again. All right. Yeah. So, because the time got pushed back, the kid was not able to make it today. However, he does have a nice set of questions that he has graciously provided for me to use. So, question number one that we have is, how can someone who is not physically attractive get attractive girls like hot attention whores or the like? And honestly, I mean, that's what I was just now talking about. But you need to figure out which types of hot girls you want, because of almost every type, there are hot girls in that type. And you just need to figure out what it is that they're looking for and start to package yourself in the way that they will find attractive. So for girls who are very active on social media, you're going to need to have an active social media to be attractive. Well, you're not going to need to, but it is one way, it's one avenue to then be able to impress them, because you have an amazing Instagram account or you have an amazing TikTok or whatever the hell it is the kids are doing nowadays. What do you think, Paul?
I definitely think you need to kind of tailor your package towards that type of hot girl you want. But also in the way to make yourself more attractive towards that specific type is that there's a lot of ways to tweak the way you get perceived in the different types of attractiveness.
Yeah.
So take for looks, for example. Normally, if you ask me, I would say I'm a 6.5 normally.
Mm-hmm.
But then because of the way my fashion style is, I tailor that to make the strong parts of my look even more extreme. So, for example, for me, it's like, okay, I wear skinny pants and preferably kind of tight t-shirts, because that elevates the way my height is perceived.
Mm-hmm.
And then because I am not necessarily don't have the most beautiful, most attractive face features, so then I wear accessories to make my face less the thing that stands out.
Right.
And thirdly, like I am also very skinny, right? Which means I would very often, and as long as it's not 35 degrees, I will always wear a like leather jacket that makes me look wider up top, but still very tall. And that alone brings like maybe your looks up 1.5,
Yeah.
almost 2. So then all of a sudden I'm an 8.
Yeah.
And the same thing goes for status and personality. You can, for status in like, especially in like bars, one of the most important status there is social status, which
Yeah.
means you can artificially boost your social status by who you friends with and who you go out with. So like when I go out with you, my social status normally might be 4 or 5, but in a bar with you and Julius, okay, now we're at an 8
Mm-hmm.
in the social status level, right? And then all of a sudden, I'm this tall guy that has a lot of social status. We are loud in the bar, and yeah, you get attractive from everyone. And as for like research, that it might not be that important, as it doesn't come into play unless you go for very hot girls or like gold digger girls, or in the longer run when you're getting into a more long-term relationship.
Yeah.
I think that's when the resource part plays in, because
Sure.
you can be a broke ass teacher and you'll still get laid because they don't care about your money for a one night stand.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, or you could be a fucking homeless busker and it still works. What do you think, Julius? What's a way for a less attractive guy to get hotter girls than himself?
Yeah. I think Paul answered most of that. But to be honest, like if you're a less attractive guy, the best thing to do is to enhance your more attractive features. So I'm assuming Paul was talking about his height, to work with that. When I was going through my awkward stages in my early 20s and late teens, um, I was tall. I was 183, 6 feet tall. So I worked with that. So like I wore things that would go well with a tall person. So, I looked better. Like I wore, longer coats or, things that didn't make me look short or anything like that. So, work with what you have and then identify very quickly what it is that makes you attractive and work with that. If you're a big, strong, muscular guy, show off your physique that you got at the gym.
Wear
You're not
American
gonna.
flag tank tops.
Oh yeah, I got this for the fourth. Yeah,
Yeah.
that too. I mean, you could, um, for instance, like if you're a guy who goes to the gym every day and you squat, 300 pounds and you bench 400, but you wear the baggiest things in the world and no one can see it, what good is that?
Right.
Show it off. Wear something more fitted so you'll show off your physique. You go swimming all the time. You have a swimmer's body. Show it off. Don't
Yeah.
don't drape it over with a bunch of stuff no one's gonna see. Right? If you're fat, wear a lot of black. You got to hide those rolls. If you're
Yeah.
really skinny, then wear baggier clothes or wear something that kind of just hides your how thin you are. If you're self conscious about that. A lot of girls don't care if you're skinny; they care if you're too fat. So identify what it is that you have. Work with it.
Yeah. You having fun,
Really
Simba?
nice. Also, guys, I have
Rich,
to
are
be a
you?
little quiet because everyone's sleeping here.
Yeah, no, I understand. Rich, are you with us? I see that he's trying to talk, but no sound is coming out. However, I do like your "No Lives Matter" picture.
Is he still in Thailand? Is he in Thailand
Yeah,
now?
yeah, yeah. I think he's
That's
getting
what I heard.
back in 2 weeks or so, roughly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so
Okay.
he's just in the world of shitty internet connections. But
It's
well,
just the worst.
yeah. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next question, which is if you are pursuing girls who are eights or nines, how do you stand out from, sorry, boys, tried everything but can't get it working? All right, that's all right, Rich. I understand, man. When you're welcome to stay here and hang out as well. If it starts to work, great. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Right, so if you're pursuing girls who are eights and above, how do you stand out from the other guys who are also pursuing her, especially if you have a significant deficit in some of these areas, right? So if you are broke, I guess, but like you're fine and everything else, how do you stand out? Let me just boil this
Easy.
down. How do you stand out? How do you stand out?
Me? The way
Yeah.
I stand out, I just don't pursue. I don't stand out. I stand out by not standing out. So all guys are talking to the one girl. I'm
Uh,
not doing it. Fuck
yeah.
that. That's what you guys are doing. I'm not a simp. Like
Yeah.
what? I'm gonna subscribe to her OnlyFans now? You don't pursue. You just do your own thing. And what's one cool thing that I noticed that like if you go somewhere and there's like a lot of hot girls, you walk in like a doofus. You just scan the area like the T-1000 from Terminator 2. They're gonna be like, it's gonna creep him out. You're gonna be one of those guys. Or you walk in being loud and stupid. That's probably better too. But what's better is when you ignore them, or if you focus on yourself, or if you do say hi to one, you go like, "Oh, hey, nice to meet you." Anyway, Paul, tell me more about your story. I haven't
Yeah.
seen your ass in forever. They love it. Don't
Yeah.
pursue them. Don't pursue them because then they go like, "Huh." All the other guys are fawning over me and offering me drinks, and this guy's over here fucking
Yeah.
talking
He
about
doesn't
video
give a shit
games
at
with
all.
with Jack. Hey,
Yeah.
he's talking about Chrono Cross. Meanwhile, these guys, they're doing this. Actually, that worked for me last when I met my ex at RGB with
Mhm.
you, because she liked that I was not pursuing her. She liked that I was just kind of treating her like a normal,
Yeah.
regular person. I wasn't hitting on her. I was just like, oh yeah, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Jack,
Yeah.
let's play the drinking game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you pursue by not pursuing, if that makes any sense.
That is definitely one strategy. Also,
Yep.
that reminds me, I have something I found yesterday that I want to show you. I'll be right back. And Paul, go ahead and answer. How do you stand out?
Oh yeah. So for standing out for me, it depends a little bit on what the situation is. If it's standing out in the sense you're trying to pick this girl up in a bar, then Julius's answer is definitely the way to go. Like the less kind of affection you give them and the less needy you seem, the higher your value gets. Because at that point it becomes a value game. And like you can even just like one of the best things you could do there is like kind of find a if you have a girlfriend with you, so a female friend with you in the bar, you can use that to play it out a lot, which means you can do the one of my favorites has always been, okay, if I want to hit on this girl, okay, then I will hit on the one girl that is hotter than her, and then I will go to her for seconds and make sure she sees it. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason for that is that just, and then when you come to her, it's just like, oh, you seem to be busy, so I hit it on someone else first, right? But if it's one where you're already on the date, you've managed to get the date, or at least you've gotten the agreement that the date will exist. Because this happened to me a couple times, and there's especially one episode where we came to the conclusion that just fuck it, I'm not going on that date. So one of my friends had set me up with this really, and I mean really hot girl. She was probably a 9 or 10 short of being a little psycho. Very needy, attention hoary girl type. So not my normal go-to, but well, if they're a 10, they're a 10. Come on. Set up the date once for Friday, and then for some reason she had to reschedule. Okay, you get one. And then for the second time, we had agreed we were going to meet in Shinsa for we were going to a wine bar, because then I wanted to do my favorite routine, because if you do something you are 100% confident, it works every time. And then like a day before we were supposed to meet, she's trying to get us to move to Hongdae and have our date there. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna be a pre-party for you to go drink with your friends after we're done.
Right.
So I was just like, fuck it. If you're not gonna meet like we agreed on, then screw it. I'm not gonna bother with this. And the result of that was, yes, I didn't get that girl, but I did get her friends in the end.
Nice.
And the reason why that, okay, they realized, and what happened was after I told her, like, no, I'm not doing this, she went bitching to the guy that set us up. And he was like, yeah, I completely understand him because he's like us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what happened was she also told her friends. So the next time I met her and her friends in Hongdae,
Yeah.
she didn't give me the light of day, sure, but she has this group of friends which are all very high in attractiveness. And what it turned out to was that maybe she didn't like it, but her friends thought of it as very special. And then I already had that, like the status and being a high value resource
Mm-hmm.
before I even approached them. So even though you don't necessarily, it doesn't always go your way, it can still go your way in.
That makes sense.
And it also does something to your like confidence. The second you realize I am confident enough in myself to turn down that 10 just because he's dicking around, then yeah, you will go into the next girl you approach. You're going to be so much more confident than you used to be, just because now you know that, okay, I can do this. And like you treat her as if you have 100 different options, and that she is just the one that got lucky today.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
that
well, I
helps
mean,
a lot.
basically, you respect yourself, so they
Yeah.
will respect you in turn.
Yeah.
That's a really good way to stand out. Julius, what I
What is
wanted to show you, I found this yesterday. Diablo 2 beer.
that?
I I have no idea why. I was in a CU yesterday and I saw this and I was like, what? Why? Who said, you know what customers really need? They need some fucking Diablo 2 beer. So I bought it.
Well, as long as it's not a Diablo Immobile beer that comes with a subscription
Oh
fee, then
God.
it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's
Not-
a Diablo 2 Resurrected. I guess the remake version that they made a little while back. But
Wasn't that like a huge piece of shit?
no. I heard that one was really good. It's the mobile game that's the huge
Which
piece
is
of
a time.
shit.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. With the microtransactions and yeah,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Right. So I'll go ahead and throw in a quick answer for this one as well. Which standing out. So I have a little bit of a different tact than you guys do, which is I stand out by being just a complete energy monster, right? Whenever I walk into a place, into a bar or into a room at all, then I'm immediately just like I hit the ground running and I'm meeting people and I'm high-fiving the bartenders and I'm getting free drinks and I'm having some shots and talking to everybody. And for me that's how I stand out because oh, you okay, buddy? All right. Because I'm I kind of make myself a bit of the center of attention for the whole place. And that also means that any of the girls there are going to be a second consideration at best. Because if I'm going to have fun and I'm going to talk to people, 9 times out of 10, the guys are going to be more fun to talk to. Right. And I think the girls know that as well. They know that they don't bring much to the table whenever the conversation is concerned. And so if I'm there to have fun and talk and tell jokes and right, clown around and just get drunk and have a good time, what does she add to that equation? Not very much. And so this also comes back to basically what you guys were talking about, which is the idea of like, I don't need her. And in fact, most of the times, I don't even really want her, but I'm willing to throw in let's play a game of beer pong together, right? Something like that. I'll bring you into my excitement, into the fun with me, but you're just an accessory, right? I'm the star of this show, and you can either choose to come and have fun with me or not. I don't care. So that's how I prefer to stand out, is by quite literally standing out and just being different than everybody else. All right, this is an interesting question. How can you keep a girl locked down if dudes are always trying to hit on her or slide into her DMs or whatever, right? Like how do you keep a girl locked down? I don't know that you really can. I mean, like you keep her well fucked, right? Don't ignore that bit. You can't let her leave the house horny because if she does, right, she's got options, and you need to keep things fun and exciting. Also, here's a novel idea: don't date girls who spend all their time on social media and shit, because so few guys actually go up and approach girls that might happen to her, I don't know, once a week, once a month, depending on how hot she is, how much she puts herself out there. But the second that you bring in like big social media presence, then right, all that shit is out the window because dudes don't have the courage to go up and approach a girl, but they're happy to just, try to slide into her DMs and say, hey, what you doing? Hey, baby, que paso? Right? I don't know. Those are my thoughts on it. What do you think, Julius?
Um, I think that question, and this is not to like attack anyone who formulated it. I'm sure it
Yeah.
came from Reddit, but it's kind of like one of those. It comes from like a sense of insecurity,
Yeah.
right? So if you trust a girl enough, if you guys are doing it all the time, if you guys meet all the time, it's really not something that you should worry about if you're confident in yourself, if you're
Yeah.
sure that she's not going to go around your back. Like you said, if you're going to date some crazy ass party girl who lives off of social media, like Solana, for instance, who's
Yeah.
always
Or if she's
posting,
out getting blackout drunk all the time, right? And
yeah,
it's like,
or she's putting herself in these situations where like, a guy said something or something else happened.
yeah.
It's more of her fault, for being there and being around other people like that. Then you really don't have much to worry about. Like I've dated hot girls who get hit on all the time. If you're not prepared and if you're not willing to have your girl get hit on by other guys, then you probably shouldn't be dating at all or be dating hot girls in the first place. It's just kind of something you have to accept. Not that they do it in front of you, just be like, all right, dude, fuck off, right? Go home. I'm gonna fuck her tonight. I'm gonna fuck her real good, and we're gonna laugh about you after. Right? You have to be confident that and you have to let her know that.
Yeah.
If some guy messaged you, okay, bitch is blocking, he's weird. He
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
he probably steals panties. He probably has like a device that steals panties. Like,
He
like,
probably
okay,
steals panties. Ooh.
he has
He's
like that
buying
device
the Belle Delphine
oh yeah,
bathwater and shit.
he has it thing like extends and he grabs him from afar. Like you used to have to be confident, but you also have to prepare yourself mentally. Like, and I used to have this problem, so I'm speaking from experience. If you're not uh, willing or prepared for that, then
Yeah.
you're in for a rough ride. Just realize it. You're not going to be able to beat up every single guy. You're not going to punch every single guy. You're not going to be there for every single guy who's going to hit on her or something. But if you trust her enough and she trusts you enough, you don't have anything to worry about.
Well, also, I mean, if you're doing a good job, right? I mean, you're giving her the
You won't
good
have
dick
anything to
and the
worry about.
relationship is going well. Yeah, like 9 times out of 10, everything's fine. You don't need to worry about keeping it on lockdown. One time I was out at Convent with Lady North, and I went up to the bar to get some drinks. And as I was coming back, there was this Turkish dude trying to hit on her. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to stand back, drink my beer, and watch this unfold. Because she's so naive, right? She had no idea. She thought, oh, the guy's just being friendly. He's just being nice. And he's sitting there trying his best, like trying to spit his lines and stuff. And she's just like, huh, what? Okay, hi. Yes, hello. It's nice to meet you. What do you want? Right? Like,
Yeah,
I wasn't threatened at all, right? To me, it was
you
just
just laugh.
entertaining. Yeah, I
Yeah,
just
you
sat back
just
with
laugh.
my beer and watched, and I was like, this is going to be fun. Let's see how she reacts whenever she figures out, wait, he's trying to hit on me? Really? I'm here with my husband. What's wrong with you? Right?
No, it's great. I love it. Like if there's a guy who's hitting on my girl and he doesn't know that like I'm around,
Yeah.
and then I go up to her and he sees me and he's like, oh yeah, it was really nice talking. And like he walks away and I go like, I didn't have to do anything. He went away. So
Yeah. I'm like, oh, hey,
it's
man.
great.
Beta much?
Yeah, yeah, it's the best thing to do. There's nothing worse that reeks of insecurity because you will drive like it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You will
Yeah.
drive her to that
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah, the insecurity is far more
It's killer.
poisonous than dudes trying to hit on her.
Work on that, my fellow dudes. You don't want to be the insecure guy. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's kind of part
definitely.
and parcel of dating a hot girl. What do you think, Paul?
Oh yeah, for sure. It comes down to two things. Do you feel you can trust the person, and are you a person that are generally insecure? The more insecure you are, the less trust you're gonna have in her in the first place, which puts you in a very awkward situation because then you will feel like you have to shut her down. So yeah, as you know, I'm dating a pretty hot one, at least in my eyes. And yeah, she gets hit on all the time. And what if I'm around, okay, maybe we play a little bit about around it. Like I can see her being hit on by some dude, and just walk up there, give her a kiss, and say, "Talk to you later," and then just walk around because it's more fun in those situations just to see how freaked out the dudes get.
Yeah.
Than necessarily caring. Yeah, about Instagram, sure, or like DMs in general, it's what can you do? Like you
Yeah.
gotta give
Yeah.
them their privacy and do what they want. And still, like, so I told her, like, so we've been dating for about 9 months now, right? And I say to her, like, yeah, you can do whatever you want. And then if I ever see her post pictures of me on her Instagram, it's like, yeah, I'm doing good. Like now
Right, yeah.
everyone knows. It's like, yeah, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, that's
If anyone-
actually a really good point, because
And I've also told her one. There is one rule to this though. She can do whatever she wants on social media, but if someone sends her a dick pic, we are sending mine back.
I showed you a picture of my dick, please respond. Oh man. No, I think that's actually a really good point there, that if a girl is publicly posting pictures of her with you, you're set, right? You don't need to worry about any of that shit, because some dudes are still going to try, but they're not going to get very far. So
Yeah.
I think it's okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's just kind of coming to terms with it.
Yeah. I mean, look, the hotter the girl is that you're dating, the more she's going to get hit on. Just period. That's going to happen.
It's gonna happen. It
Yeah,
will happen.
That's okay, right? You have to just let it be. There's not much you can do to stop it. So you figure out enough, right? Like, don't leave her hungry, right? Because if she's hungry, she's gonna eat a sandwich from somewhere else. Keep your dick. I mean, keep your girl dicked up. Keep her full. All right, let's see here. Our next one. To date an 8, how many of the categories do you need? Okay, so basically, what should your attractiveness level be to date a girl of a certain hotness? As a general rule, of course, there are exceptions to this, but as a general rule, girls are willing to date down by about 2 points. So if you're a 6, you can date 8s without too much pushback, too much trouble. But if you start pushing higher than that, it's going to be a lot harder for you to do, which means you raise your attractiveness in different ways. Now, obviously, there are exceptions to this, because a lot of guys will just pay attention to looks and say, oh, there's this really hot girl with this busted ass dude. What's her name? Christina Basham was married to Scott Adams, and she's a fucking supermodel, and he's the nerdy old dude who made Dilbert, right? So, like, okay, how does this happen? Well, status, resources, personality make up for the looks, and so he's able to date outside of his weight class looks wise, because he's got all this other stuff going for him. And that's really all that it is it's figuring out who it is you're trying to attract, figuring out how to package yourself well, and then basically making yourself as attractive as you possibly can so that you can date up. Do you guys have any thoughts on that one? No. All right. I basically went over all that stuff in the lesson anyway.
Yeah, I think so. That's why I don't have much to add to that. Do you, Paul?
I was thinking, so yes, for looks, if you just go by looks, maybe they go in general up and down too. Everyone wants to get the 10, but if you're a 4, that's probably not realistic unless you have something to weigh up for it. Like just in looks, I think you can differ up to, like, as long as you are at least half of what they are, you can still do well. So even if you want to date a 10,
make up for it in other categories, though, for sure.
If you want to date a 10 and you are a 5, so take, like, that's what you put for yourself, right?
Yeah.
And then you need to weigh up for it somehow. And in your case, that is your personality, right? I think as long as you have at least one of you that is within reach of that person's perceived attractiveness, I think you can do it.
Yeah.
But if you are straight 5s for everything, then I'm sorry, bro, you don't have a chance. But
well, and if you're actually, I think that's a good point, because what I said about going up and down by 2 points, if you're a straight 5 across the board, 7s aren't going to want to date you, right? You do need to have something that is elevated, something that's at least at her level or better. So one of these categories needs to be, if she's a 7, one of these categories has to be a 7 or higher, right? Depending on which one it is. Because I think that these also, the more I think about it, the more I feel like these are weighted differently, but in different situations, right? So if you are doing cold approach, personality is going to be top, and then looks are a close second, with resources being almost negligible in cold approach. However, if you're, I don't know, signing up for like a matchmaking service, if you're trying to find yourself a bride or something like that, then resources is going to be a whole lot higher than looks. And so this is kind of what I was talking about figuring out where you are strongest and then playing to those strengths rather than trying to just focus in on one of these things, especially if you're weak in it. Okay, this is an interesting question. How far can you get with game alone? So if you learn how to, basically, if your personality is a 10, but everything else is like a 4, how well can you do? What do you guys think?
I do think you're going to be, if your game is a 10, so you have a 10 personality and the rest is 4, I think you will do very well, at least up till 8s.
Yeah.
And then you are going to meet a lot of resistance at 9 and 10, but that is also because the competition is very different for 9s and 10s.
Sure. I think that when you get into that range of like the
So
9s and 10s, the really hot girls.
Yeah, so the reason for that is, first of all, there are way less of them, right? Which means there are going to be the ratio to men who's trying to date them versus the amount of girls is going to be a lot higher, which means the average amount that each girls get hit on or approached is going to be a lot higher, which means you need to stand out even more to have a chance. But for like in up to like 8s, I think you're going to do very well.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Personality goes an extremely long way, especially in certain situations. But yeah, I've seen butt ugly dudes who are extremely confident and have good personalities. Just they're able to always punch way above their weight, way above. And and I've seen the opposite. Really good-looking guys who are tall, extremely handsome. They could be models, but they have the personality of like
fucking wet blanket
of this thing, this thing, and they can't get any girl. They just coast by off of their appearance, and it doesn't work all the time.
Yeah, I think that whenever you get into the higher range of things, you need to have something else that you're bringing to the table special, right? Like if you have great personality and very high status, even if it's just local celebrity, but if you have personality and status, you're gonna be fine, even if the looks are terrible, right? Like I said about Christina Basham and Scott Adams, dude, he looks like the fucking crypt keeper, right? But he's got status and he's got great personality. So can you make up for looks with that? Yeah, absolutely. Can you do it every time? No, of course not. But it's going to take you pretty far. Yeah, if you study your game and if you practice your conversation skills, develop your inner confidence, learn how to pass shit tests without failing them every time, you'll get pretty far. You can do well.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's see here.
Well, really quick though, what if you were like a 10 out of 10 looks wise, but everything else is just kind of like, eh.
Well, if you're a 10, then just hop on to Tinder or whatever, right? Like,
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, like that's fine because that's where you showcase the thing that you are very strong at. You don't need to have a great personality on dating apps if you are, Mr. Universe. So, like, I'm serious, right? You can just hop on there and be like, yeah, I am jacked and I've got a massive schlong. Okay, great. Like, girls will be lining up for that, and that's fine. Let's see here. Okay, this is an interesting question. When you've dated hot girls, given that you primarily rely on game personality, what has been your retention strategy since they were regularly getting attention from guys who are more in shape or better looking than you? Well, this goes back to, this is basically the same as the question that we had before of like, uh, how do you keep her from getting DM'd or getting hit on or whatever? And like, not all girls are meant for relationships, right? Like, you can be dating a hot girl, you could be banging a hot girl, and like, okay, that's fine. You bang it out a few times and then you let them free again, because if you're not in a situation where you're going to be able to keep them satisfied and keep everything put together, why add the extra stress of all that shit to your plate, right? You get together with her, you hook up a few times, and then you anyong right out. Yeah, like, it's fine. I've sent plenty of hot girls packing whenever, I don't know, it's, if they aren't bringing anything but sex to the table, how long is the sex only going to keep you interested? Is, I think, a better question, right? Because if she's just hot, but she's not that interesting, not fun to be around, then like, you bang her 3 or 4 times and then just stop messaging, right? I wouldn't worry about this thing about like keeping them around or anything like that. Either you enjoy hanging out with them and they enjoy hanging out with you and they'll stay around naturally, or you don't, in which case you just bang it out and then send them on their way. Catch and release.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the question is geared, it's asking for retention. Is that for like, random girls you meet that you're just gonna have a fling with, or is this a relationship? If it's flings, I think it's important to not get too caught up in wanting to retain them, but rather prepare yourself mentally that this is temporary.
Yeah.
So that when they go, you're just like, oh, okay, cool. Back to playing, the newest Halo or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember my strategy around that. That was actually more successful than I thought it would be in the start. So back in earlier before my girlfriend and everything, I used to have dating multiple girls all the time, right?
Right.
And to keep them around, it's like, okay, you notice after the first time you sleep with them if they're gonna want to be around or not, right? And sure, you can be around, but remember, you are not the only one. Literally just telling them straight up, like, yeah, you are 1 out of 4 fuck friends right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, the fun thing about that is then they start to compete with each other who gets, and that is also really fun. But that requires you to have the balls to just straight up say, yeah, like I remember this one girl who asked me, do you do this often? And I'm like, yeah, I did it yesterday. I'm probably doing it tomorrow.
Yeah. When was the last time you had sex? 3 o'clock?
6 hours ago?
Yeah, right?
I washed myself.
I had.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can
Don't worry, I
tell
took a shower.
I can tell one story about that one actually. So I had one of the girls that I was fucking around with. She had been at the hotel the night before, and then she was having an exam in the afternoon. And I had a date with another girl at 6 or 7, I can't remember. And then she texts me like around 2, can I stop by before my exam? Sure. So she came by around 3 and then she left at 4. Perfect. Then I can take a shower and get ready for my date. And then that question came up. When did you last have sex? And I'm like, 2.5 hours ago?
Yeah.
And
what happened
that
next?
girl was very resisting. I was sure she was going to be one of those at least 3 dates and gonna need something special to eventually get her to the hotel.
Yeah.
And I think that one specific that I had 2 hours ago, like kind of flipped her over and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go home with you tonight.
Yeah.
And it worked out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, like
That's-
now in her brain, you have just changed yourself from this is a guy to date and maybe take my time and get to know him to, oh, this is just a guy to fuck. This is a fuck boy. Okay, let's fuck. That's fine.
Yeah. And for some people, so there are two types of people, right? There are the two types, the people that absolutely do not like that type of guy.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are true to yourself, it is so rare that you actually go on dates with those people.
Right. Well, and not only that, but like if you're looking to bang and she's looking to date, why would you try to make those match? Right?
Mm.
Like, don't try to lead this poor girl on who wants to like go on nice dates and find love and whatever else. When you're like, no, I just want to get my dick wet. That's it. Don't even have to bring names into the equation if you don't want. Right? That's okay, right? You can be honest about it. And this is why I keep on saying to guys, like, you need to figure out what it is you're looking for. Because if you don't know, or if you just say, I don't know, I just want to meet people and see what happens. Let's see what happens. Right? No, that is a guarantee that you're not going to get what you want, because you're not even being honest with yourself about what it is you want. So if you can't be honest with yourself, how can you get it?
It's like acting. You have to know the purpose of the scene you're in. If you don't know the purpose of what you're doing here, you're not gonna know. You're not gonna get what you want ever.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's do one last question and then we're going to wrap up. So, guys that are, this is weird to read. Let me try and translate it into fucking English. Okay. How picky are women when it comes to looks? Will a really hot girl with perfect skin and plastic surgery be open to dating guys with less than perfect skin and who aren't exceptionally handsome? Okay. Yeah. So here's the thing, is that these girls who spend hours doing their makeup and who are dressed to the nines and who get plastic surgery and stuff like that, that's because they aren't confident in themselves. Like there's a deep unhappiness in them that they feel like they need to make up for in some way. If you feel perfect and confident in who you are, and even though you aren't that great looking, but if you walk around with the big dick swagger of a dude who is a 10, yeah, right? Girls they will remember how you make them feel more than whatever it is you say or how you actually look. Because in a girl's mind, your looks can actually transform based on your personality and how you present yourself. You could be an objective 4 by looks, but if you walk in with the big dick swagger of a 10, then in her eyes, you will go up. You will be better looking because of how you act. So basically this question is, will an unconfident girl who doesn't think that she's pretty or hot be willing to date a guy who does think that he's pretty and hot? Fuck yes. Of course. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I do think you definitely got that one right. So for those girls, they are so insecure. And when anyone else goes up to approach them and tells them, "Oh, you're so hot and you're so beautiful," they won't believe that person anyway.
No,
And it will just peel right off, and it also kind of deters them against that type of guys. And they will also most likely not be very interested in those actual super handsome guys because they do not think they look good enough. So for those girls, personality is always going to be the most important thing. You have to be super confident in yourself, and you have to be make them feel confident about themselves. So in that case, like if you want to approach a girl like that, it's obvious she has got plastic surgery. You can see that she's doing everything she can to look as beautiful as possible. In most cases, those girls are so insecure that if you go up there and give them a compliment on something completely out of the ordinary, that will make a lot more difference to them than trying to tell them that, hey, you're hot, wanna fuck, right?
Yep, absolutely.
In those
Absolutely.
cases, earring, it's the dress. It's, for Christ's sake, if they're wearing a dress or if they're wearing pants and you can like kind of see their socks like this much up, compliment their freaking socks, because they're both gonna laugh and be happy about the choice they made, and that's gonna make them much more
absolutely
inclined to actually date you rather than
a
guy that just compliments their looks.
So here's a thought on what you just said there. What kind of person is going to tell a girl that she's hot or that she's beautiful? It's somebody who is not as hot or as beautiful as her, right? Because she seems to stand out in his mind. So basically, whenever you walk up and you tell a girl that she's pretty or that she's hot or whatever, you're saying you're better looking than me, and I want to date up. But if you're talking about her socks or her earring or whatever, then it's like, yeah, that is a person who does not put me on a pedestal. I can work with this.
Yes. It works wonders when you just compliment them as a random thing, because everyone's told them about their eyes, everyone's told them about their face and their body.
And also,
something different. They're like, oh, cool, I like those shoes. My mom has the exact same Air Force Ones. They'll be like, what?
Oh, you wear Vans? My mom does too. Awesome.
So, oh, I used to wear those in middle school. That's cool.
Yeah. Oh man, I thought I was the shit whenever I got myself a pair of Chuck Taylors.
Yeah, I remember this one girl, and I think Paul knows her. Her name's Angela. You know who I'm talking about, Paul?
Yeah.
So I remember one time I saw her 2 days in a row in Hongdae, and the second day she was wearing the same dress from the previous night. And I went up to her, I was like, hey, nice dress. She gave me this look like, I'm going to fucking kill you. But it worked. It worked brilliantly. Brilliantly. So, but I think kind of going back to the main question, though, I do think that women are harsher than men when it comes to looks. So, they will only date people who look as good or even much, much better than they are with the guys who are kind of, oh, well, I'll kind of settle with, this girl who's on my level or a little below or slightly above. It's basically what I wanted to add to that. So, Sorry, just lost my train of thought there.
That's okay. You just totally derailed. That's all right.
So it's
it is like 3 a.m. for you, isn't it? Yeah.
I was tired 3 hours ago.
Yeah. Well, that's as good a place as any to go ahead and wrap this up. So, for those of you watching, thank you for joining. Thank you for my panel, my lovely boys, for coming to join. Even though Rich wasn't able to talk because of his shitty Thai internet or whatever's going on there. But still, thanks for being here anyway. And now everybody in the world knows the secret formula for attractiveness and how to fix it. Make yourself more attractive. Date hotter girls. There you go. All you got to do is go out and do it. So with all that said, I'm going to love you and leave you. Catch you guys later. Papa Jack out.